Hey everybody, how's it going? Um, as I'm pretty much sure everybody knows, the Imperial Guard stuff came out recently, and um, people are either really excited or really bummed out, just because that's how people roll in this game, in this hobby. I'm excited for it because it lets me do Admech a lot easier than the old codex, just because it's easy to run things without having to worry about the doctrines and whatnot. So yeah, this video is not going to be about. It's not going to be about like units in depth or anything, or tactica, or what you can field. Maybe in the future I'll talk about some key units that I like and why I like them. But this is not going to have a Fortress Monastery supplement post either. This is just about my plans for this Imperial Guard Codex. Now, I mentioned it before in other videos that I'm working on Admech army and Adeptus Mechanicus army, called Scutari, Tech Guard, Mechanical Guard, whatever. Scutari is like the legions, the Scutari legions. They're kind of like the guardsmen regiments, if you will. And then they're broken down in different terms like Hypastis for guardsmen, Cataphracti for artillery, and so forth. So pretty much how am I going to use the codex for to represent Admech is what this is about. Now, special characters are easy. You can just count as them, choose one that's nice, kind of like Strachan, who is the guy who's got like half bionic, and or the tank knight commander, whatever he's called for the tank upgrade. He's calling different things. Hypastis or guardsmen to represent them with platoon squads, veteran squads, stormtroopers, even conscripts, stuff like that. Cataphracti, artillery, so you represent them with like siege guns and basilisks. Pretty much any vehicle that the Imperial Guard has is made in Forge Worlds, and so Mechanicum essentially has access to all the technology the Imperial Guard does. So that's no problem. When you start getting a problem and stuff with Ogrins and stuff like that, and it's not a problem, it's just that they're a good unit or a cool unit if you like them, like Ogrins or the Psyker Choir or the Psyker Primaris, whatever. They're good units. They're fun units. You might like their playstyle or their fluff, but this is Mechanical. They're not going to be just normal, so you have to count as them. Same thing with some advisors, like the Astropath advisor. Yeah, you can use an Astropath. They use Astropaths, or you can just make like a weird-looking servitor with a whole bunch of relays on them. But so that's how you do that if you want to do it differently. But let's take Penal Legion. You can do Penal Legion just as it is, or you can make it techie. I'm going to make it techie by calling it the Hypastis Obsoletus Experimentus. It's Pig Latin because this is 40k and Pig Latin's everywhere. But it pretty much represents guys who are too injured or old or damaged to continue fighting normally. So they're augmented to be able to fight. They're lightly armored, and they're given experimental tech like experimental combat protocols or whatnot to help assist them. And they're just a guinea pig. They test it out, they die and that's how they get the findings. They don't care if they die as long as they can just recover the bodies later to get the findings that they need. So that's how I'm going to represent Penal Legion myself, but you can do whatever you want. Now, Ogrins. Ogrins, I like. They got stronger. I like them. Their stave is still is not really good, but so how am I going to represent them? Well, I'm not going to do Praetorian servitors because they're too big and too badass to be represented by Ogrin. What I am going to do is just call them battle servitors, and you just convert in Kit Bash something with a big gun to represent the Ripper gun, and like some type of combat-y other hand or whatnot. And that right there, you represent them like that. You attach independent counter to them or whatnot, and have the independent counters are just converted from a tech priest your model, or not even. And then there you go. He's kind of leading them, controlling them. So that's how I would do Ogrin. Represent them as a battle servitor. The Psyker Choir squads. The way I'm going to do them for the Admech army, if I were to make a squad of them, would be as the Electro Priests. They're essentially living batteries, living lightning. So they kind of fit in with the abilities that they have. Like you could represent the whole lowering leadership thing with like binary chatter feedback and whatnot, and you can represent the psychic power, but they're just innate abilities to, because they're essentially a living lightning rod. And the overseer just kind of like makes sure they don't go out of control and kills them if necessary. And same thing with the Psychoprimaris. The Psychoprimaris I represent as Electro Magus, essentially a high-ranking Electro Priest. Because I mean, technically it could happen. I mean, the structure ranking is like Tech Priest and Logis Magus. Well, I don't know. I don't know the exact hierarchy, but Electro Priest is a type of Tech Priest, and you can just have a high-ranking one, I would think. With Ratlings, I'm not a fan of Ratlings, so I don't really think too much on it, but you can easily do them as like little sniper servitors, like pretty much a torso and a head, and like the gun strapped to the arm on like little tracks or little wheels, something like tiny. They can just wheel around, or like servo skull units. You can represent them with that. Just make them hover appropriately off the ground with a big gun underneath their jaw or underneath their jaw. Kind of like drones, only not AI. Stuff like that. Am I missing any other unit offhand? Don't think I am as far as counts as. I mean, Rough Riders you can just give them all mechanical steeds if you wanted to. I don't plan to use those. But that's pretty much it for counts as that I can remember offhand. And pretty much how I plan to represent everything in the Imperial Guard Codex for my Mechanicum Guard, or my Admech I should say. As I of course build the army with its super heavy counterparts that I have, I will of course show project updates here and on the Fortress Monastery blog. I wanted to end today with showing you a test model. It's still plastic. It's two pieces together of how I want to represent my Mechanicum models, hopefully. Now I have some Deathcore Krieg bodies, and I do plan to use the Greatcoat here from the Commander, and I also plan to use that Bionic Arm a lot. I really like the Bionic Arm. But that aside, I plan to use Cadian tops and High Elf bottoms. So I have an example. It's not done yet. It's still very much work in progress. But let me see if I can get it in. There we go. See, it's a Cadian top, and this one's a High Elf Warrior bottom. Pretty much, I plan to make my Carapace armor look like this. I still have the green stuff in here on where the torso meets the waist, and with possibly plastic hard to make it more flush fitting. But once I do that, I'll show you when I do that, and when I get good at it, I'll do a tutorial on the Fortress Monastery about it. But so I have to get good at it first and do it successfully. So this was my plan. For flak armor, I'm going to use High Elf Archer bottoms, which don't have the scale mail. The scale mail represents Carapace armor, for me at least. And so yeah, this is my plan for the bulk troops. So it's going to be a bit of work because I have to do green stuff filler and plastic hard filler. But I only have I have a Deathcore Krieg Commissar and a Deathcore Krieg Quartermaster, I believe, and that's it. I also plan to use a Titan Tech Crew on foot to represent pieces of the army too, but this is the bulk. The bulk's going to be stuff like this. So I figured I'd give you a heads up on what I'm working on. I will do a progress video on this once I get it ready for paint. I might just base coat it black before I do it, that way it looks seamless with the green stuff and the plastic card. Hopefully, this is a test model. Hopefully I'll get better at this and I can do it quicker and make it look more streamlined. But that's pretty much it for me and the new Imperial Guard Codex, and how I plan to do my Admech army when I eventually start working on it amongst my other 30,000 other projects I have. So until the next one, take it easy.